Hey guys, it's Laura, your grateful recovering alcoholic and addict. I have got I have, god dang it, I have an assignment. 12 and 12. This is for old people. Look at this book. It's so funny. I bought this, I don't even know, a couple years ago. Never even opened it. Isn't that horrible? So my sponsor is, I had to read chapter 6 into action. I'm doing my steps. So I figured that, let me see how long this is. It's not too long, so I'm going to try to read this. I hope it's not too long. It's step 6, when we're entirely ready to have God remove all those defects of character. Oh my God, my defects of character. Let me see if I can turn that off. Can y'all see me now? It's so bright. My eyes are hurting. I've been on my phone all morning. This page is going off, so I have to moderate. I'm going to eventually start a Carry On Foundation. So I have been reading up on foundation, how to start a foundation. I have no idea what I'm doing. Just like I have no idea what I'm doing with this page. All I know is I want to do something. God has given me a voice, and I'm going to use it. So, I'm not going to start the foundation until I do my steps. Okay? I didn't really want to start the What a Girl Needs in Recovery group until I started did my steps. Because I want to, I wanted to be transparent and honest. And transparent and honest is I haven't done my steps. So, but I started the page because my son told me to do it. He said, just do it, Mom. Do it. So just like when my daughter said, you're a drug addict, I did something about it. It's amazing what you will do for your children. I will do anything I can for my children. When I was in active addiction, I still did everything I could for my children, but I wasn't giving them the best mommy, because mommy was miserable inside. I was miserable inside because I was a drug addict. I was a drug addict until I was 50 years old. So I'm coming up on 2 years of sobriety. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read some of it that captured my attention when I opened the book. And I kind of looked at it on my phone. But it's step 6. So I'm on step 6 now. I went through, I let all my resentments go. But now my fiance is walking in the door, and I'm not going to be able to do this. So I'm going to start step 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all the defects of character. Okay? So in this step that separates the men from the boys, that's what it says. This is the step that separates the men from the boys. So declares a well-loved clergyman who happens to be one of the AA's greatest friends. So, this, when they said rehab is for quitters, I used to hate that saying because I never thought of me as a quitter. But it really is a true statement that if you go to rehab, hopefully you will quit. You will quit doing drugs and alcohol if that's what you want to do. If you don't want to do it, you will find an excuse to get high again. Bam, period. It's not, like I said, it's not rocket science. So, anyway, let me go through this short and sweet because my fiance did walk in. So what you're going to do is you're going to simply stop drinking, and no human being could seem to do this job. But when I became willing to clean house and then asked a higher power, my God, as I understood him, to give me release of my obsession to drink vanished. It was lifted right out of me. So, and in the AA meetings all over the world, statements just like this are heard daily. So, so the step 6 is we're entirely ready to have God remove us of our defects of character. Is this AA's way of stating the best possible attitude one can take in order to make a beginning of his lifetime job? Because this, just like the keto thing I'm on, it's not a quick fix. It's a lifestyle change. Okay? I go to the grocery store. I don't eat all the shit that I love. I love it. But I told y'all before, I love everything that's bad for me. Everything. I love tequila. I love this. I love that. I was a meth addict for years. I loved all of it because I was dead inside. So, so here we go. It says, that does not mean that we expect all our character defects to be lifted out of us in the drive to drink. A few of them may be. With the most of them, we shall have to be content with patient improvements. So this shit doesn't happen overnight, okay? This does not happen overnight. But you have to be entirely ready. Underline, entirely ready, that we want to be the very best that we can be. So that is very important. And then it goes on to have, we must recognize now that we elude in some of our defects. We really love them. Who, for example, doesn't like to feel just a little superior to the next fellow, or even quite a lot superior? Isn't it true that we like to let greed masquerade as ambition? To think of liking less seems impossible. But how many men and women speak love with their lips and believe that what they say so that they can hide lust in the dark corners of their minds? Well, right there. Yeah, I mean, you can tell somebody that you love them, but if you don't show them, me and my fiance, we had moved in with somebody when we were in active addiction, and he had a girlfriend that he was telling that he loved, but he treated her like dog shit. I mean, he treated her like shit. He would leave to go to the store. He wouldn't come back for 2 days. It was horrible. So that's what they're talking about. You really have to be ready to change everything in your life. So that is good. And then it goes on to say, if we could gain any real advantage in the use of this step on problems other than alcohol, we should need to make a brand new venture into open-mindedness. That's where you have to take suggestions. You listen to other people, other addicts. That is so, before, when I first came into the rooms of sobriety in 2018, I wasn't the same person I am today. I'm just going to tell you that. I was not the same. And it's saying, are you ready to be open-minded? Are you ready? So looking again at those defects we are still unwilling to give up, we ought to erase the hard and fast lines that we have drawn. Perhaps we should be obliged in some cases still to say, this I cannot give up yet. But we should not say to ourselves, this I will never give up. Again, your mind tricking yourself. I had a boss once. I was in sales. And you'd come in the morning, and everybody had, it was week-to-week sales. And you would sell. We were selling timeshares. And, every sale, you would get to scratch off. Well, some people, like my girlfriend, she would have 15 sales and I would have 2. So I would come in and go be poor me. But my boss said, this was my boss, told me that I needed to mind fuck myself. So I'm trying not to cuss so much. But, so, what did it say? So you're not willing to give up everything. So I'm not willing to give up my cussing just yet. I've given up my chocolate. I've given up my drugs. I've given up alcohol. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. So, I mean, the cussing is just, it's like I don't know, it's a habit, I guess. So anyway, so it says, this I cannot give up. So I'm not giving up myself. But I will never not say I'm never not give up cussing. Sure, maybe one day I will. One day I maybe will be prim and proper after I do all my steps. So I'm coming on to step 6. And it says, the moment we say no, never, our minds close up against the grace of God. Delay is dangerous and rebellious may be fatal. This is the exact point on which we abandon limited objectives and move towards God's will for us. Step 7 is to humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. Since this step is so specifically concerns itself with humility, we should pause here to consider what humility is and what the practice of it can mean to us. Indeed, the attainment of greater humility is the foundation of principles of each AA 12 step, for which some degree of humility, no alcoholic can stay sober at all. Nearly all AA have found, too, that unless they develop much more of the precious quality that may be required just for sobriety, without it, they cannot live too much useful purpose or in adversity be able to summons a faith that can meet any emergency. Humility as a word, as an ideal, has a very bad time of it in our world. Not only is it the idea misunderstood, the world itself is often intensely disliked. Many people haven't even nodded acquaintance with humility as a way of life. It's true. I didn't even really know what humility was before I stepped into the eyes of sobriety. Oh my God, my eyes are hurting so bad because I've had those glasses on all day. I didn't even know what humility was. I didn't know what gratefulness was. All I knew was I had a phenomenon of craving that every 3 or 4 days, my nose would start twitching like Samantha on Bewitched. It would start twitching for the alcohol. And as soon as I drank the alcohol, I was looking for dope. But then, I told y'all before, my later addictions, in 2018, I was doing it by myself. Boy, talk about being humiliated. God, I mean, being strong enough to walk into the rooms of a rehab by yourself. I had a person that I barely knew that was an Uber driver. He was an addict. Take me to rehab. Sure did. And I was, popping Xanax and drinking beer in the parking lot. I think I even ate a rock of meth. I just, I had to get it. But walking in there, there's where the humility came in. Humility came in. It's a beautiful thing. In all of our striving, so many of them well-intentioned, our crippling handicap had been a lack of humility. We had lacked the perspective to see that character building and spiritual values had to come first, and that material satisfaction were not the purpose of living. Quite characteristically, We had gone all out in confusing the ends with the means. Instead of regarding the satisfaction of our material desires as the means by which we could live and function as human beings, we had taken the satisfaction to the final end and the aim of life. For us, the process of gaining a new perspective was unbelievably painful. It was only by repeated humiliation that we were forced to learn something about humility. That's right. It was only at the end of the long road, marked by successive defeats and humiliations, at the final crushes of our self-sufficiency, that we began to feel humility as something more than a condition of groveling despair. Exactly. So when we finally admitted without reservation that we are powerless over alcohol, we're apt to breathe a great sigh of relief. Well, thank God that's over. I'll never have to go through that again. Aha, yeah, right. You definitely, once you come in and you admit that your life is unmanageable, you admit your life is unmanageable, there's humility right there. I mean, damn. If I would have known what I know now, I would have been sober a long time ago. I would have been sober a long time ago. I just didn't know about humility, about the phenomenon of craving, about triggers, about people, places, and things. I didn't know. It's funny looking back, when my boyfriend died in my arms in 1995, everybody kept telling me, you need to go talk to somebody. Are you okay? Maybe if I would have went and talked to somebody then, maybe they would have told me I was an addict. But I was such a good manipulator, actress, whatever. I was an addict. I was a fucking addict. I'd been an addict all my life. Overeating was the first thing. Then it was alcohol. Went to drugs, bad men, all of it. So, I'm sorry, my phone's going off. This page is, my What a Girl Needs in Recovery is almost up to 800 members. And I'm locked out. I can't even, that's without even being, I have like probably 100 people trying to get on, but they've locked me out. So I am forever grateful for that. But back to the, these steps. I don't want to read them all to you, but the chief activator of our defects has been self-centered fear. I mean, I was scared shitless all my life because these girls were telling me I had a big butt, I was a mutt, I was a slut. I was 8 years old. How the fuck am I going to be a slut? I was a virgin till I was in fucking high school. My God. How do these girls even know what a fucking slut was in 3rd grade? I had to go home and ask my mother what a slut was. So yeah, my chief activator was self-centered around fear because I was so scared. So then I would eat. I ate my feelings. There was a movie one time where I could relate. Yeah, fat girls ate their feelings. That's what I did. I'm still not where I want to be with my weight. I don't know if I'll ever see that day. I don't even eat shit anymore. I've only lost 30 pounds. But it's coming off very, very slow. And they say the slower the better. So, I don't know. So, nothing's easy. Nothing is easy for me, but nothing worth a shit is easy. Nothing. if you want it, if you really want it, come get it. You know what I mean? Come get the shit if you want it. If you don't, then let your life pass you by. So, in the step 7 is where we make the change in our attitude, which permits us, with humility as our guide, to move out from ourselves towards others and towards God. The whole emphasis of step 7 is humility. Is it really saying to us that we ought to be willing to try humility and seeking the removal of our shortcomings, just as we need when we admitted that we were powerless over alcohol? And that degree of humility could enable us to find the grace by which such a deadly obsession could be banished. Then there must be hope of the same result respecting any other problems we could possibly have. There you go. So I just wanted to come on because that's where I'm going with this. Look at this big ass book. Is that hilarious? That is so funny to me. And I still can't see it. So God bless cheaters. The glasses, anyway. I'm rambling. I'm a little bit all over the place, but my fiance just got off work, so he's in the shower. I want you guys to stay clean, stay sober, practice humility. Remember that life is so much better when you're living on life's terms, when you're not giving your money to the dope man, when you actually have money in your bank account that you worked for. That you can come on here, no makeup on, and tell you how beautiful, how special, how worth it you are. If you're struggling, reach out to me, and I'll be getting back with you. We're going to do these steps, and I am going to be light as a feather. Bye.